I've heard you say that you would like to send U.S. forces into Mexico to combat the drug cartels. How would we do that?
Well, we're going to do a couple things. Day one, we're going to declare a national emergency. That'll allow us to mobilize all available resources at the border, including the military, and we're going to shut down the invasion. We will build a border wall, which I think is necessary, but we're going to reestablish the sovereignty of this country. Now, in the process of doing that, we just have to face the facts that these drug cartels have been exercising more control over our border than our own federal government in many respects. In fact, in some of these areas, Biden has the Border Patrol off the border. They hang out in town and they process illegal entrants. What I saw in Arizona was I actually saw there was a border wall with these steel beams, and the cartels would actually cut through the fortified steel beams, run right through with all the product, and no one would do anything about it. And so when we see things like that, our folks, Border Patrol and or the military, they're going to be authorized to use lethal force. If you take these people out when they're doing that, they are not going to want to move fentanyl into this country if that's the risk. They do it because they don't get any blowback. Now, we're also in a situation where tens of thousands of Americans are dying every year because of the fentanyl that is being brought across the border by the drug cartels. That is massive, massive loss of life. I don't think you can just sit idly by and let that to continue to happen. And so we'll reserve the right to be able to bring direct action as appropriate to these cartels. And I think if you show that you're willing to do that, you are going to create a whole different situation. Right now, they operate with impunity, and Americans are dying, and that's just unacceptable.
Let's talk about the China threat. You consider China to be the number one threat to the United States. There's they have us on so many different angles. They're coming up through our southern border. They're teaching the cartels how to make fentanyl. They're putting bases up in Cuba, right next to your state in Florida. They own the supply chain. How are we even going to begin to deal with them?
One, recognize that they are infiltrating our society. So do things like we did in Florida. No Confucius Institutes at our universities. No CCP influence, funding research at universities, and no purchase of land. We actually prohibited CCP-related entities and individuals from purchasing land in Florida, not just farmland, any land. I think we need to do that all across the United States. Second, we need to regain our economic independence from China. This whole idea of putting them in the World Trade Organization and granting them most favored nation status many decades ago has been a failure. We were promised that they would end up becoming more democratic and peaceful, and in reality, they were able to build themselves into the dominant manufacturing power in the world. We are now dependent on them for key materials and products that we need to sustain our country. We saw it during COVID with almost everything needing to come from China. We get materials for nuclear weapons from China, for ammunition, all these things that have put us in a very, very vulnerable position. So we need to decouple from China. It's not something you can just do on day one, but we will identify the key industries, and we are going to build more of that industrial base here in the United States. And then finally, militarily, look, the Chinese, they respect hard power. Particularly hard power in the Indo-Pacific. Japan is building up more. I think Korea, India, I think are going to be with us. I think we have an opportunity to have an American-led coalition of folks that are concerned about the CCP and recognize the threat. But ultimately, the United States is going to have to do more to project power in the Indo-Pacific, particularly with sea power. So that's going to require an investment. But I think we've got to do it. We've got to be able to produce more ships. They're able to produce so many more ships than we're able to right now. You know, we're down under 300 ships. We had almost 600 ships during Reagan's time, and China sees that as a weakness, and that emboldens them to take action. I believe the way you deter conflict with China is to have enough hard power that they make the calculation that it's not worth messing with the United States or our allies. And I don't think we're on that right road now under Biden. We will be when I become president.
Yeah, I don't think we're on any right roads with Biden.
Well, amen to that.
Yeah, Governor, I really appreciate your time. I do want to say People really want to know who you are. They want to know who the man is, who the governor is, and I would love to get you here. Nobody's going to give you a better interview than I am. I'd love to highlight your military service, what you've gone through with your wife and your family, and your entire governorship. I would love to do it.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we should get it done.
Perfect. Well, best of luck to you. I hope to see you again, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Godspeed. Thanks.
You too.